How many times you've been in the audience for a public speech, you've seen something like this?
Well, hello there. Are you listening to me at the back? Can you hear me? Can you hear me at the back? Am I audible? Am I clear? Can you see me? Can you hear? Oh God.
Or you've seen something like this.
Well, hello. I've been asked to deliver a speech, but I tried my best, and I did my best what I could be able to do and deliver the speech for you. So please, I'm sorry if find it boring, but I tried my best. I had very limited time.
What does it tell you exactly? I mean, in the first situation or in the first scenario, the person who gets onto the stage would start off by saying something as stupid or a bit obnoxious, or I would say something which shows that the person is actually not prepared. The second scenario, in which the person gets onto the stage, they start off by saying or by placing a lame excuse, as you've seen in the video. Now, in both the situations, what happens that you as a speaker lose your credibility. And the moment you say something like this, that would set up something in the minds of the viewers, or that sets up something, or let's say it ignites something in the minds of the audience, and that just is about the expectations pattern. If you would like to become one of the best speakers in your area, then all you got to do is break the expectancy patterns, and that's exactly what I've been doing for the last decade or so. What I used to do, or what I intended to do back in the days, was to start off by saying something which is quite usual, like making a joke, creating a sort of a comical statement or a motivational quote or something along those lines, which becomes quite sort of a cliche thing if you look at it. So if you go onto the Google or if you go onto YouTube, and you'll see that one of the best speakers of the world, when they delivered something on TED Talk, for instance, they never ever start their conversation or their speeches by saying something like this. No, they don't. They don't start off by excusing that they haven't got the time or energy, or they couldn't be able to prepare that in the past few days, or they don't say something, can you hear me at the back? Are you listening to me? Or, are the energy levels are up to the mark or not? Or make some sort of a physical movement in there, which quite usually lame thing. Now, in this video, I would reveal something which not a lot of people actually are aware of. And those people who are the enthusiasts, or let's say they're very passionate about public speaking, or they would like to make a mark in their companies, in their social circle, or in their industry as well, they need to be fully aware as to what exactly needs to be done to become one of the leading public speakers in their industry. I'll break it down very quickly by giving you 3 strategies that TED Talk speakers use. And they use it all the time. And that's not something which is, you can say that, oh no, this is something which is out of the blue, or it's something that you would say, oh, it's rocket science. No, nothing like that. Nothing of that sort. All you got to do is keep 3 words or 3 letters firstly in your mind. And those letters are M, E, N. Now, hold up. It's not about the feminism or anything like that. So I'm not actually advocating the fact that how important men or women are. No, we're not going to get into that detail. But these letters, these MEN, actually hold a significant value, or they are of utmost importance when it comes down to public speeches. How? Hold your thoughts. Listen to this very carefully. Now, the first one is M. M stands for memorable. If you want to be known, or you want to be remembered, or you want to be referred or rephrased, or you want to be referenced as one of the leading figures in your industry, then all you gotta do is become memorable. How do you become memorable? That's the question. I mean, it's very easy to become memorable by just turning up to the stage without wearing anything, like what John Cena did on the Oscars. He wasn't wearing anything when he got onto the stage. Through that way you become memorable, for surely, but for the wrong reasons. There is another way to actually grab attention and become absolutely memorable, is to basically start screaming something which has either no value or offensive, or which is absolutely obnoxious. I know that you don't want to do that. So how are we gonna make you memorable? Keep something in mind, and that is called engaging the information with the emotion. When you combine information with emotions, when you combine that becomes a lasting memory. Try that. Let's try that right now. So for instance, if I'll ask you a question about the memorable parts, that where were you exactly when the news broke to you about 9/11 that happened in USA? When these two buildings came crashing down. I'm not going to get into the detail of that. The point of the reference that I'm trying to make here is you would remember exactly what were you doing at that time. In fact, what were you doing? Who were you with at that time? What were you exactly wearing at that time? You know exactly. You remember that exactly. I mean, most of us remember that exactly anyhow. But the point is, how did that happen? And that actually became a lasting memory for you. Only and only your information and your emotions, they got mixed up. When they become together, they get together, then what happens? That it becomes a lasting memory. If I'll ask you that on that day of 9/11, for example, a day before or a day after, what were you doing at that time? No, you had no idea. Absolutely no idea whatsoever. What exactly happened? You mixed the two things. Now, in this situation, when we're talking about the M part, the memorable part, you're going to give them something which is of utmost value. Another thing that you're going to include in that utmost value is to engage their emotions. Now, how do you engage emotions? We'll get to that. And how do you give them something which is of utmost value, new information? How do you do that? That takes us to the next point, which is E. E stands for emotions. How do you engage someone's emotion? I mean, right now I'm engaging your emotions, right? If I start talking in a flat tone, there's no emotions whatsoever, and then you're going to be sleeping with your eyes open, and then your phones are going to come out, you're going to start watching the reels, and blah, I'm gone from happening. To stop that from happening, what I'm doing right now is I'm engaging you through different psychological triggers and the inflection of my vocal tone. If you have noticed right from the start of this video till this moment and till the end of it as well, the vocals are absolutely clear. They have a lot of emotions, they have a lot of variations, they have a lot of variety in that. The reason why I'm actually including this point in the public speaking session is because when you're on the stage, people are listening, so obviously your physical persona is there, but your vocal persona is also there because people are intending to listen to you. Yes, it makes perfect sense that you're going to make something or wear something that makes you look the part. So if you're coming up to deliver a speech which is of absolutely no nonsense, which is so serious, and you're going to wear something which makes you look like a clown, that would create a lot of contradiction and confliction. So people, rather than focusing on what you're saying, which is your vocal persona, they would actually get carried away because of your physical persona and the way you dressed up. Vocal persona creates an immense value. So for instance, people say and come to me all the time that, I have a fear of public speaking. How am I going to stand onto the stage and fight that fear of facing the public? Let me tell you something. We humans, we've been born with only two built-in, by default, fears. All the other fears, we learn them. We gradually learn them. And there's a lot of there's a lot of information, there's a lot of research that has been conducted in that regard as well. But the babies, when they're born, even right now, you as well, and let me tell you an example as well right now. If two things would happen right in this moment when you're watching this video, you would actually jump up and you would feel absolutely frightened. One, if you think for a second that you're just gonna fall from the heights, from a real, you're right really, really up above the, in the sky somewhere, or probably some floors up there, and you're gonna fall. That's the fear that you're born with, right? Falling, the fear of falling. And the second one is the fear of a loud sound. No matter if right now I'm sitting here with my production team, right? And if there's a loud sound that happens, all of us would be like, whoa, what happened, right? Same thing goes to you as well. So what happens at that time that you're born with these two fears, everything else you actually are learning. So the fear of actually facing the public, the stage fright, the fear of having all the energies and the sights, the visions of every single one out there towards you would actually charge up your emotions as well. So one of the main things that you can do in order to become a world-class public speaker is to engage and to have a close hold onto your nerves. Not everybody can be able to control their nerves. So that takes us to the point two, and I got a bit carried over here. Emotions. So the way you're going to engage the emotions is through your voice. And the reason I was telling you about the fear is because the noise, the voice, the vocal, the tempo, the way you're interacting, the physical movements, the body language, the showing of your palms all the time, the movement on the stage. If it's too much, you look really stupid. If it's not too much, you'd look even more stupid if you're like still like this, right? That would make you look like a stupid, no matter how brilliant of a world-class speaker you are. For example, there was one of the speeches that I absolutely loved on TED Talk, and that is of Sir Ken Robinson, the late. He passed away, I think, a few years ago, and he was a British professor, and the guy is world-class. And the way he engaged the audience right the moment he got onto the stage. The reason why I'm actually mentioning Sir Ken Robinson right now is because he had a bit of a special ability, which basically means he was especially abled. I'm not supposed to say disabled because he was not. He was a very brainy, very smart guy. And he couldn't be able to move very frequently. It was a sort of a struggle for him to move onto the stage, let alone move into the real life as well, because he had some issues with his leg. And he captivated the entire audience by just standing there. So if that is the case with you, then you're going to play around with your vocals, then you're going to play around with your emotions, your expressions, and everything. So make sure that you engage your people's emotions the moment you go on the stage. Let me give you a tip here. How I do that when I go onto the stage, an amateur or someone who has no experience or very little experience facing the public or to deliver a public speech is the moment they get onto the stage and they're behind the mic or the podium, they start like anything. Don't do that. Do you know that silence actually shows credibility and authority? People with a lot of power, people with a lot of charisma, a lot of credibility, they tend to talk very less. They tend to stay in silence most of the time because they are in the observation mode, right? So the way I do it is I go onto the stage and for a few seconds, I'm not talking. I'm just absorbing the crowd. I'm looking around. People are staring at me. I'm staring back at them. That creates a sort of a tension in between. The people are kind of intrigued at what's going to happen. And because I have the gifts of the vocals and I also work as a voice artist as well. I'm a radio presenter as well. So I have that sort of a thing going on with my vocals and I'm completely aware of that. And I kind of use that to the benefit. You can do that too. That's, it's not something that you can't do. You can absolutely develop amazing vocals. We'll discuss that in some other video. That being said, that takes us to the last part, which is the N part. And N is novel. Novel means your brain, your mind is absolutely all the time craving novelty. I think you keep on going to YouTube Shorts, TikToks, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels. Why? Because they're short and they're new. Your brain is constantly seeking something new all the time. So if you're giving the information out there in your speeches and if it's not new, chances are you won't be memorable and you won't be able to engage their emotions. You can easily point out this right now in the comment section that how can I tell them something new when everybody knows pretty much everything because the information is there online, right? The only thing that's going to create a lot of difference is you telling that story in your style, in your unique style. That would make it absolutely novel. And that is the deal. That is the real deal. So if you want to be the world-class public speaker, you can either get in touch with me. I do one-on-one coachings as well. If you want to learn something in more detail, the comment section is always on. You can get in touch with me and my team. We'd be able to customize and develop the entire plan, the entire program, according to your needs as well. And let me tell you something. If you want to accelerate your income, the only way you can do that is by learning amazing communication skills and delivering speeches all around the world. Do you know that these world-class public speakers get paid up to $20,000 to $30,000 for one keynote speech? And I'm telling you from the research, which is actually available online as well. You can go and check on Google, you'll find out. So if you start your career or if you're a C-level, a professional, you're an executive, you're a director, CEO, founder, chairman, you got to deliver some world-class speeches. Why? Because you want to inspire all the team members, all the companies, all the industries, everyone that is sitting in the audience, that they don't really just applaud for you. They actually start doing the work that you want them to do, right? Anyhow, thank you very much. If you watched the entire video, drop me a comment, like, subscribe, share, whatever you would like to do, and we'll get back to you in the next video. Thanks a lot.